Okay, I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted August, board member.
I'm Matthew Wojcik, L&I supervisor.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
Philip Motter, Boards Administration.
Thomas Rybakowski, City of Philadelphia, License and Inspections.
Okay, anybody going to be testifying in this hearing, please raise your right hand, swear to tell the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Please respond.
Yes.
Okay, all right, Phil, take over, read it into the record.
Yes, sir. These are cases number 1 and 2, MI 2022005487 and MI 2022005484, both issued for 305 North Front Street.
Okay, Mr. Miller, please state your name and also the owner, state your name.
Good afternoon, may it please the board. My name is Andrew Miller. I represent Fred Santilli, the owner of 305 North Front Street.
Okay, Fred, can you acknowledge your name?
Yes. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Fred Santilli, owner of 305 North Front Street.
Okay, all right, Tom, you want to start us out and give us a little information about the case?
So we have 2 cases today relative to 305 North Front Street. Both cases have declared the property as unsafe. As the city did not file the appeal, I'm going to defer to the appellant and then reserve the opening statement afterwards.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
All
My
right,
name
Mr. Miller, you want to explain the case?
Sure.
Oh, yeah, he does. I'm trying to learn from him.
Good afternoon. I'm not sure where that feedback was coming from. My name is Andrew Miller. I represent Fred Santilli. Mr. Santilli inherited this property from his father, who passed, and there was a fire set by vandals at this property. Mr. Santilli lives a few blocks away. He supervises the property. He checks on it daily. One day there was a fire in the property as a result of vandalism, and that forced the issue of this property. Unfortunately, the property is in a historic district. So Mr. Santilli had to, before he could do anything meaningful other than make safe, he had to go to the Historical Commission. He's been there twice, and he's been through the committee review process. The problem is with this property, and the impediment to making it safe is he doesn't want to do the work twice. So he's engaged an architect. He's been to the committee process twice. They disagree with the sizing of the windows on the exterior walls, and some of the work that's required to remedy the city violations involves changes to the exterior walls. So Mr. Santilli would like to make it Historical Commission process.
Excuse me, hold on a second. Whoever's that noise is coming from, could you put it on mute?
Coming from Phil's, I think. Yeah.
Okay, all right, good.
Thanks.
Go,
So-
Mr. Miller.
Thank you. So his goal is to address the violations and make meaningful improvement to the property compliant with Historical Commission requirements all at once.
And when's that going to be?
Well, I think Mr. Santilli is in the process of requesting another review by the Historical Commission Review Committee. So we're not here to say that the city's violations are unfounded. We're here to say that we need more time to address them.
How long has this been going on for?
What was the date of the fire, Fred?
The exact date of the fire was, I believe, last summer, June 15th, sir. And there was also a couple months that the whole process was prolonged, that I couldn't be proactive in this because it was an arson and there was individuals that were essentially investigating that. So that added a lot of time. And they said I'm not allowed to touch or alter the property in any meaningful way. And I was honestly, I was scared. I mean, I've never been the victim of an arson. And I left it alone, to comply with their order. At such point, I started the process of trying to connect with engineers to make assessments. And then that's where as well as link with an architect to help me with drawings and renderings and the whole process that they do. And so that was about 6 months of time after the fire, those two things concurrently. And then into the spring, I had some meetings with historical. I want to make sure I think there was the committee, right? And the first meeting when it was essentially, they said they're not accepting of the designs that I presented because I wanted to peel the facades one at a time, reframe and put historic appropriate bricks, no cladding, no things of the sort. And they disagree with my window sizes, which I said, fine, we'll go back and revise. And they actually said, I believe in that meeting, the meeting number 1, that the rear facade, they were okay with my design. Actually, their wording was they can live with my design. I went back and then they said they no longer like that design. So I decided, I said, let me really make some considerations with the architect and try and resituate what we're going to try and do with the property. And some time has, admittedly, some time has elapsed with that, and we're still working. But it's not that, this situation is going unignored.
With the Historical Society, did they give you the okay to do what you want to do?
No. No,
You still
mainly
don't have
because
the okay from them to put these windows in or whatever you're trying to do, so you don't have to do the work twice?
no, I have not gotten accepting. Actually, what they told me was really the second time around, there was an individual from the public who said the brick can be taken down and reused. And I and I was kind of taken back by that comment, because when the historical commission said, yeah, that's a good idea, reuse the brick, I was like, okay, I have to talk to a brick mason to get an expert opinion on how that happens. And I told them I would revise the design to their liking. I think they use some kind of terminology like get a laser measurement of the front facades. I don't know. I mean, I just, get the current dimensions and rebuild the new windows to the same size. I told them that. They balked at casement windows. I said, fine, I'll go double hung. I was trying to comply with them in every sense of, they can, while also creating a property and a project that was more in line with current standards and efficiency standards, and being neighboring adjacent to 95 noise standards, and everything of those kind of things. So yeah, that's where we kind of left off. That they said I had to recycle these 125-year-old bricks or however old they are, and I just was like, I have to do a lot of research on that. I can't believe that's even a possibility. So yeah, that's
Okay, well, the thing is where we stand now, again, we have to make the building safe.
okay.
If we could do it in the time when the Historical Society says you can do something, I think that would be good. But if they don't give you the ability, we got to make the building safe.
Okay.
And that's my issue. I don't know what what we can do in between, or how long the historical society will take to make a decision what's right or wrong there. Tom, do you have any input from that?
So let me jump in and do the opening statements concerning the property and the two cases the department has issued against the property. So for the first case and the first appeal that was filed on today's docket listing is for the unsafe case 671215. This case has actually got some time length on it. This case was issued against the property in January of 2019 with notice of violation going out.
Is that before the arson fire?
That is before the fire, yes.
I'm sorry, may I? There was another fire at a neighboring property that was not arson. There was an electrical fire where there was a complete fire in an inhabited apartment building, 1 or 2 doors away, Fred.
That was 2 doors away, 305. I think that was the 309 North Front Street. I think that's accurate. That's 2 doors up. Yeah.
Right. And I'm sorry to interrupt, Mr. Rybakowski, but that violation followed the neighboring fire.
So unsafe case was written January of 2019 with the initial notice going out in January of 2019, and then subsequently 2 other notices, final notices, one July 26th of 2019, and then another one in February of 2022. The appeal for this violation was submitted into the department October 7th of 2021. That's quite a long time to appeal a violation that was issued in January of 2019. That's over a year. So my first assertion to the board is this appeal is of an untimely manner and should be dismissed, as they know they need to make the repairs to the building. The building needs to be repaired. And so that's my assertion to the board, is that this is an untimely filing. The second appeal is for just that. The fire occurred June of 2021 with a notice going out and with the property being posted on June 22nd of 2021. The appeal for this was filed October 7th of 2021, the same filing along with the other case. Again, that's 4 months later. Still an untimely filing. The department has come into possession of an engineer's report issued to 305 North Front Street, spelling out structural repairs that need to be done to the property. And as Mr. Miller opened in his statement, they're not disputing that the violations are accurate or that the violations exist on the building. So my assertion to the board is that both these cases, both these appeals are untimely filed and there's no ruling by the board. That said, I'll turn it over to the board.
So the untimely filings means we don't have any jurisdiction over this?
No, it's just that. It's that the appeal period has expired, and now the violations are ascertained as existing on the property, and they need to be remedied. As far as with the Historic Commission makes a ruling on what mortar is used, what bricks are used, what windows are used, what exterior elements are used on this building. The interior structural members and the wall itself, they need to be made in a safe manner.
So, with this is that, again, these violations have to be fixed now prior to, well, the time ran out on what they were supposed to do. So they would have to pull new permits in order to do this, to do the job?
Well, there are no permits pulled for the repair of the job as of yet. And I'm concerned in that the appeal paperwork that was filed, both appeal submissions, the reason for the appeal is appellant disputes the alleged violation and to the extent that they may be founded. The violations have been remediated. Well, that tells me that some repairs were done, structural repairs were done to this building.
No, if I can jump in, sir,
Sure, go ahead.
I think when I apologize to the board and to the committee for the untimely appeal. I'm admittedly not familiar with the process. I'm working through it, and that's when I consulted with Mr. Miller to say, hey, can you please provide me with the proper guidance to make sure and I brought him on late, so I own that. I apologize, as well as when he said, why are we appealing? I said, I'm working on them. So I think there was the quote unquote remedy. I may have spoken in a manner that I said I was working on it, meaning working on the historical, working to arrange all those meetings. So I apologize for that. I didn't do any work without a permit. I wanted to do everything in a professional, proper manner, which is why I consulted with Mr. Miller. The only thing I did do was there was some, debris and stuff like that. I brought in a clean out crew.
Okay.
So
I'm going to ascertain it to the board. I'm going to make this position to the board. And forgive me, sir, having the last name that I have, having the last name that you have, may I say Fred?
please, yeah, of course.
Okay. So, Fred, what I'm going to ascertain to you is
ABC?
ABC, exactly. So, what I'm going to, the proposal that I'm going to say to the board is I'm going to ask, when is your hearing or when is your next hearing in front of the Historic Commission?
I am finalizing some details on the drawings with Mr. Estepani, which is my architect, and then we're going to file to request a hearing. So I can't give you a specific date at this moment, but I'm working to get that. I'll try and get on their next docket and go from there.
Okay, so realize that's not structural repairs. That's repairs that meet the Historic Commission's requirements.
Okay.
What I'm asking and I'm proposing to the board is that we see a make safe permit for the repair of the interior and exterior concerns of the property per an engineer's report within 45 days.
And Fred,
Yes.
I was just looking at the leak engineering report from 2021. That could be some of those interim repairs could be as simple as building temporary walls to support sagging joist until you fully get in there for construction and figure out what you're doing based on your architectural plans.
Okay.
He talks about the sidewall in that report. There's already some bolts stabilizing it. Leak engineering basically said it's a monitor situation, that there's no immediate repairs necessary. So I don't think a make safe permit would be that much work.
Okay.
Again, it can all be kind of a quick temporary shore things up until you get your full building permit.
Okay. And with that said, Ms. Rivera, I have spoke with the neighbor, what will be 303. That's the one-story building, and he did talk to me after his appeal hearing that I believe he had, maybe possibly with this board, with this committee, and we're on the same page to make repairs to the stucco, in the near future. So that'll be worked on. Anything else, I'll reach back out to Mr. Bruno at Leak Engineering, coordinate some shoring up of sagging joists, investigate, remove, whatever I need to investigate within the 45
So
days.
you're good with the 45 days getting a permit to do the interior fixing?
If you could do 60, that would be great. We're coming into the holidays.
That's true.
Yeah.
I was more on 30, okay? Tom went to 45, so 45 guys, okay? All right, so that's where we're at. So have a make safe permit for the interior within 45, a permit pulled within 45 days, and then start the work to get that squared away. Okay?
Okay, and do I,
Will we get it? Will we be relisted in the 45 days?
No, I believe this is a final notice.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, guys, good luck, all right?
Good luck with
Thank
this
you.
work.
All right,
Everybody.
Thank you. Enjoy the holiday.
all right,
Bye,
guys.
everybody. Bye-bye.
Recording has started.
Okay, I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted August, board member.
A licensed, Matthew Wojcik, licensed and inspection supervisor.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
No, you're on
Phil, you're
mute.
muted.
Yeah, yeah. All right, pal.
Sorry, Philip Motto, Boards Administration.
That's a boy.
Thomas Rabikowski, City of Philadelphia, license and inspections.
Jamie? Tell us who you are, Jamie.
Jamie Marrero, Boards IT.
Okay, anybody testifying in this hearing, please raise your right hand, swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Please respond.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, all right, Phil, put it into the record.
This is case number 4 on the list, MI 2022-006-396 for the property located at 3627 North 19th Street.
Okay, could you state your names for the record? The appellants?
My name is Karen Ehrlich, EHRLICH. And my name is Bethany Bender, BENDER.
Okay, all right, Tom, tell us a little bit about the case.
So we have the property at 3627 North 19th Street has been issued violations by the department. First, it was declared unsafe in January of 2019. And then following an inspection that took place, the property was upgraded to eminently dangerous in June of 2021. The appellant, the owner, and has filed an appeal. That's what brings it to today's board. Prior to today's hearing, approximately yesterday afternoon, we received documentation that an engineering firm has been retained and that they are in the process of getting the correct documentation to essentially pull a make safe permit for the repair of the property. I'm going to share my screen to expedite time. I'm just going to go straight and share my screen and go straight to the document that we received via email yesterday. I'll share the screen now.
Thanks, Sharon, Tom. There you go.
Okay, so this is the document we received via email yesterday. The document is a quote or an invoice for engineering services dated November 8th of 2022. It has one of the appellant's name on it as well. And at the bottom of page 2 of the document has a signature and dated November 15th. With that said, obviously the violations exist. There's an engineer's report or a design professional who's been ascertained. My recommendation to the board is to have a make safe permit in with the department within 30 days. I'll
Okay,
stop sharing the screen.
all right, the appellant, are you good with that?
So I do have at least one question. I haven't spoken with the plans examiner for this case, and just wanted to know before we actually get the plans back from the engineer, what is specifically expected by the plans examiner to see on the plans. I have gotten make safe permits in the past, and it's been sometimes a little bit of a toss up on what the plans examiner wants to see versus what we can see on the violation versus what the engineer sees. So if we could get a little bit more clarity on that, that would be appreciated.
Tom?
let's see here. So for 3637 North 19th Street, the violations are for the porch itself, the floor assemblies, and the masonry wall. I'm going into the violation. So the violations indicate that the interior structural members are compromised, the exterior walls, and we can see that the front porch is in desperate need of repair on the property.
Mhm.
That said, your engineer's report and plans need to be very specific, especially with a eminently dangerous property, because anytime you replace more than 2/3 of the structural members and a portion of the building envelope, that constitutes as demolition by the department. Now, that doesn't mean you have to take the property down to a vacant lot.
Mhm.
What that means is that you have to follow all the terms of a demolition new construction, which means you apply for zoning and demolition permit to basically take an old property down and put a new property in its place. If you were planning on keeping any portion of the building, you would have to submit your structural bracing details in with that demolition permit, and it would have to be conducted by a demolition contractor.
Right.
So
Um,
Tom,
that's
is
what
this,
you're up against.
Tom,
okay.
is this after they get the engineering report back?
What's that?
Tells them what they have to do?
Yes, so the engineering report and plans would be very specific. They would go through the property with a fine tooth comb and tell you what structural members were to exist, what were to remain, and how many are going to be replaced. If you're over that 2/3 threshold, then we're at demolition new construction. If you're under that 2/3 threshold, then you're at a make safe permit.
Mhm.
Are you clear with that?
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Okay.
But Richard's plans and a report.
Right. So I was at the property yesterday and I can see the front porch is in really poor condition. The last time we had been to the building, it was sealed. So I'm not sure what happened to the front door. There was like plywood there. It looked like it used to be sealed, wasn't anymore. But I didn't go into the building because of the porch. So I couldn't really see any of the interior elements that the violation was talking about. We did own both of the properties adjacent to it, 3629 and 3631. Those had previously both had a porch on the front. We sold them, they took the porch off the front, renovated it, and now they're both occupied buildings. We had been in the process of trying to sell this property as well to the same purchaser to do the same kind of thing, but now with kind of the threat of demolition in mind, kind of trying to speed things up there and rectify some of this. Our question that we would have, I think, is if we were to remove the front porch and start there, could we downgrade the violation from imminently dangerous to just to make safe?
Clean and seal.
And clean and seal for the purposes of this violation.
retaining the building for
Right.
now.
Right.
So realize that the violation indicates the exterior walls, and it is noted that it is the masonry wall in the rear of the property.
In the rear of the property.
So
Is that is that the retaining wall or the wall of the building?
the actual wall of the building.
Okay.
Okay.
So I think there's a lot more than just, I think there's a lot more to this property than just the front porch in a distressed state.
Okay.
I mean, I've seen other properties where you open the front door and everything's in the basement. The only thing that's there is the roof. I'm not saying that that's this property per se, but when that happens, then you're looking at demolition new construction.
Okay. Right. And so it's, if greater than 2/3 of the studs need to be replaced, it would need to get a demo permit and zoning, even though you're not taking the property down to a vacant lot. It would just be, you need to have the bracing You need to have the engineer's report and you need to have a licensed demo contractor. Is
Correct.
that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
You all good with that?
Okay. So you said 30 days
30 days
for the make safe permit.
for make safe permit.
Either make
Okay.
safe permit or demolition permit. One or the
Or
other.
demolition. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, excuse me, sir. Are you the inspector for this property? So we'd be in touch with you to get the plans approved, do initial
questions?
inspections, et cetera?
I'm the court liaison.
Okay,
So I attend most of the appeals hearings, and then I attend the court hearings for the department's line of enforcement. In this case, there wouldn't be a line of enforcement in way of a court order, as the administrative board is going to be making a decision.
okay.
Ron, can you get them in touch with the inspector that's going to be looking at that building?
So the inspector, once the permit would be issued, whether it be make safe or demolition, the inspector would be Inspector Stallworth, but he would be the point of contact once a permit is issued.
Right.
You could email me if you had questions.
Mhm.
That would be fine. The email is thomas.rybakowski,
Spell
RYBA.
Helpful. The names up there on the screen.
It's on the screen,
Yes.
ABCD
Thomas.Rybakowski.
at phila.gov.
Gov. And the inspector, I assume this would be from the North District, is Stallworth.
No, so my unit is CSU, so
Okay.
it's not it's not from the actual building
It's-
district.
okay.
We handle everything throughout the city.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, I have just one.
No,
more
no,
question,
no.
if that's
Ask all the
okay.
questions you want.
I haven't gotten to make safe since before the pandemic. So for make safe permits now, are you going down to L&I and municipal services building? Do you submit them online?
So what you have to do is go to L&I's website,
Mm-hmm.
schedule for an appointment.
Okay,
You have to schedule for the appointment. The day of the appointment, you come in with your associated documentation and you
Okay.
make your submittal. Now, the day of your appointment, you may be contacted by somebody at Permit Services
Mhm.
asking if you want to do a virtual appointment or if you want to do a
Okay.
online submittal. That's not always the case. So
Okay.
if your appointment's set up for day 1, 2, 3, keep your appointment. If you do not receive an email, keep your appointment, come into the building with your associated documents.
Okay.
All right.
Anything else? I think that answers my questions.
Yeah.
Sure, anything else?
Thank you, everybody, for your time. Appreciated.
Yes.
Okay. Good luck, girls.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You're
Good
welcome.
luck.
Thank you.
Okay.
Started and go on the record, just two. Okay,
Wayne, you're on mute.
Wayne, you, okay.
Okay. I'm Wayne Miller, board member.
Amy Rivera, board member.
Ted Agus, board member.
John Dimes, Fire Code.
Matthew Wojcik, L&I Supervisor.
Deborah Richardson, Boards Administration.
Philip Motto, Boards Administration.
Okay, everybody going to testify in this hearing, please raise your right hand, swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Respond.
I do.
Okay, Phil, want to put it in the record?
Yes, this is case number 5 on the list, MI 2022-006-635 for 527 West Girard Avenue. The appellant is Judy Robinson.
Okay. You want to state your name, Judy?
It's Judy Robinson with Continuum Architecture and Design.
All right, present your case, go ahead.
Okay, and you all will have the drawings to bring up if we need to, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I have them.
Okay, so the building at 527 is one of the original indoor markets in Philadelphia. Started moving markets indoors. It's a beautiful building, and we are renovating it for commercial use on the ground floor, residential units along 6th Street and above. It's a historic building that is L-shaped, and we got permission from the Historic Commission to do an addition in the back northeast corner to make the project viable, to add more units. And in order to make that work, to get daylight into the units, we created a courtyard. And this courtyard and the fact that we're kind of landlocked is what is leading to, I would say, the majority of the variances we're requesting.
Want to
So,
bring up,
yeah, do you want me
want to
to?
bring up the prints?
Yes, please.
Okay. Matt, can you do that?
Yeah, I can do that right now.
Judy, you're not capable of pulling them up? Just because it would make sense if you
I am,
toggled
although
through.
I'm just kind of challenged.
Okay,
Comes to this stuff. I've got them on my desktop if we did need them. But I think, yeah, best to go to right. Yeah, this is the best drawing to go to. I'm going to actually start, instead of where the red arrows are, I want to start with the main egress ones, because I think the refusals, one was for exit passageway, one was for exit shall discharge directly to the exterior and not re-enter the building. And I think both of our stairs, we kind of have an issue with that one. But on the first one, the exit passageway is relative to stair one, which would be, if you look at the where your hand was there, your little hand, in the upper corner, that stair. No, I'm sorry.
Stair one, you mean?
Yep, stair one.
So I thought revised plans corrected that. Yeah, because not every sheet was revised on every single like resubmission. So I have like this sheet is for like the common path of egress travel requirement. Then I have like another one specifically that corrected the issue at stair one. And so I probably should have mentioned for the exit pathways one, which I also have to correct myself. I didn't notice that the one here where my hand is right now, that one is more like just a rated corridor of sorts because it's open at one end. It's not really an exit passageway, but it still enters into another exit and then gets to the exterior.
Gotcha.
So that's more so what I should have put down as for that specific one.
Yeah,
and the
I
one
know
at stair
this
one
is-
is corrected. Let me get to that one.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, here we go.
There we go.
So that one I consider to be okay. Stair one is
Okay.
fine.
Yeah, in the drawings, for everyone on the board, the drawings that I sent to Debbie the other day, the most recent set shows like this correction on every page.
Okay.
If you need to bring up my set, I can do that. But yes, so that's stair number one.
Yeah, that one's good.
Oh, so we're good on that one now?
On that one we're good. But that refusal was referring to this condition right here.
Okay.
Where stair 2A or so stair 2A requires occupants to go from the interior to the exterior, back into the interior, and then to the public right away.
Okay, yeah, so let's focus then on stair 2A. That's an exterior stair, and because it obviously makes sense to have our means of egress, one of them going to Girard and one going to 6th Street. The way in which we could do that without affecting, the historic front of the building, because we're not allowed to mess with those openings and stuff. This was the way to do it. And we're using an existing opening in the building that they come down that exterior exit stair and then go down this passageway, as Matthew pointed out, to exit out the front of the building. Right now, I've sort of treated that egress way like as a corridor and have made it 1 hour rated. But I'm wondering if we could make you happy if we made it a 2 hour rated corridor.
yeah, thank you. Can we see the whole plan? Or
Again?
just that plan? Because we're talking about stairwells and I can't read. Right, just that.
But also once again, stair one doesn't look like this now. It's different now.
Then we need to look at the right.
Okay.
Do you want me to bring up my plans and figure out?
Yeah, if it makes it easier.
I think this is the one that's the most recent.
Yes, that's the one that's the most recent.
Okay.
Matt, a question. When you said that stair one is okay, you may be referring to a specific issue, but is stair one still, or that passageway around it, is that still being re-entered from the exterior, from the garden, courtyard?
So that is still essentially a problem is that like anyone coming off of stair 2A that for instance wants to get to Girard Ave would have to go back under the building through stair 1, well, through exit 1, which contains stair 1, and then to the exterior.
Right, so it's really the same issue or similar
Yeah.
issue with both that and the way that goes out to 6th Street.
Yes, because if all those units needed to get to Girard Ave, if for some reason they couldn't get to the stair 2A, they would have to go re-enter the building as well.
And what I'm saying is, I was going to say is that typically in situations like that, we've been okay as long as it's a 2-hour rated enclosure, both the walls, the floors, the ceiling, so it's a, a rated 2-hour rated tunnel that's getting you back through the building and out.
Currently, Ted, stair 1A is completely 2 hours, even from underneath. We have a partial basement. I was kind of treating it like a lobby. So underneath our ceiling in the basement is 2 hours. And then there's a whole series of 2-hour walls surrounding that to make sure we fully encapsulate the tower above. So it is a full 2-hour rating. It's stair.
Yeah, and that may need to include the package room, which probably has lots of burnable stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, is the package room allowed to be attached to an exitway?
As long as the stair is isolated.
Yeah, but I'm thinking of people who are re-entering the building, going through something where those packages are.
But to answer your question right now, yes, that package room is within the 2-hour enclosure. I've made 2-hour walls all the way around it. So yes, it currently is set up that way.
I mean, I think at the very least, it would need to have 2-hour walls between it and the, the exit way. And,
Right.
2
I mean,
hour
normally we wouldn't let any rooms off
right.
a main exit corridor.
But
We realize that this is a preliminary, but it's also, you're looking, as you said, you're kind of using that as an entry lobby, and you got mailboxes in there, and it's,
but is it, if I've got it enclosed, I do have the package room completely enclosed, like where it says 5 feet, like that, where that dash, it's like a double dash line. That's the 2-hour wall that's completely enclosing it, and it goes on the back side of the laundry as well. You're talking about, right? Or do you want the wall where the door to the package room is to be 2-hour rated?
I would think we would want the package room isolated from the exit corridor.
So both
2-hour construction.
So both walls, like where the door is and around it, like I have?
Probably, because it probably needs to be separated from the commercial space. I mean, again, there's probably some things that are going to continue to shift around as you, move forward with all this. But I'm just making a general comment, not, any, necessarily an opinion, but that right now, the fact that there's a package room and a mail, there's a lot of stuff going on in there that it's not purely an exit way. And the fact that people are coming from outside, from the garden, from stair 2A and everything, and might end up coming through this, it's not, I mean, we've had situations where we're allowing people to go back through a tunnel that has nothing in it, that's 2-hour rated, top and bottom and sides, and out to the street, but without going through an active space. So I frankly think it's problematic the way it's being treated right now. That's my guess. So I mean, John and Matt, you guys probably weigh in on that stuff.
I mean, if it's being called an exit passageway instead of just a corridor or a lobby that the stair is exiting into and then to the exterior, then yeah, the package room would have to be not connected directly into that exit passageway. But yeah, like I can see why.
Doesn't the laundry room then technically end up in that door to the laundry room is in an exit passageway as well?
Well, they call it out as a 90-minute door, so that, yeah, they're.
Yeah,
sort of
but
like-
I know,
Yeah,
but
it's kind of like if you call it that, then yeah, and if that's gonna be it, it's because like there's like room right here.
Yeah, and I was doing that in part.
Also has the walls around it. Not totally 2 hours all the way around, but there's a little bit here that's 1 hour, but it is 90-minute doors.
The reason the door is positioned where it is presently, because I'm trying to get, above our stair configuration is different. It might help to go to that second floor plan so you can see that. And so I'm trying to make it completely 2-hour enclosed.
Back to, let's go back to this plan again. Go to the 2 hour. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
There. See, I want to make sure that that whole stair is enclosed with 2 hours. So I moved the door on the first floor in order to make that complete enclosure of 2 hours, if that makes sense. I could always push it back, but then I don't have a place to complete my 2-hour enclosure. And again, I'm Lava treating that more like it's a lobby. And if the package room, if that's giving us a huge problem, we'll just get rid of the darn package room.
I-
The moment to make it completely 2 hours, that's fine too. It's mostly 2 hours at the moment. I would just,
I mean, to just sort of, back up sort of big picture, maybe go back to the first floor, again, Matt, if you could. I mean, you've got stair 2A, which is coming down. I think we're okay with that as a stair, as long as it's non-combustible, its proximity to the property line and all of that, and to the kind of different, I'm assuming all of this is like one property consolidated.
Yeah, it is.
Correct.
One
Yes.
building, yeah. So,
Yeah.
but when you come down from there or from other places in the building, there needs to be a really clear, as much as possible, clear, direct way to get out of there from the resident garden, whether it's, people on the ground floor who are just coming out and getting out to 6th or Girard, or conversely, coming down from upper floors, primarily on stair 2A. Anybody on stair 1 is going to just come down and go straight out to Girard. And probably that's the case sort of with, I think it's stair, is that 2B? Yeah, down at the lower left. But it's really kind of anybody in the middle there. It's not clear and direct. You got a couple of options to get out of there, but both of them neither of them is exactly what's envisioned by, a stair directly taking you to the out to the street. I mean, you're coming down, you're in an exterior space, then you're going back into a corridor on the one by stair 2B, where it's then dumping you into a shared entry where a stair and that exit both are coexisting. And then the other one is coming into, up in the upper right, into a corridor, a passageway with a whole bunch of other things going on. So I'm not saying that, that's making it harder to swallow because it's not clear and direct. If you imagine you're in that garden with everything on fire in the middle of the night, it's not as clean as it could be.
I agree. And even if you're in the exterior, that garden being in the exterior, everybody thinks if you're outside, well, it's not as smoky. Not always necessarily. I mean, the thick black smoke, depending upon where the fire is. I mean, people that are entering that garden from a stair or that can traverse the garden to get to the hallway to get out, it could be not a good scene, and people could get confused. So it's not optimal, put it that way.
But you know, with all due respect, like the issues that you're discussing, if you were inside a building, and there were corridors you had to reach to get to a stair, I'm not sure that I'm understanding how this situation is that much different. You know, like if you were in a building that had a wide corridor down the center with some narrower corridors off of it to get you to the stair towers.
Well, wouldn't that stair tower go down a corridor to an enclosed stairway, and the stairway would lead right to a public way and out the door? So you wouldn't be. It's not exactly the same, right? Am I understanding it correctly?
It seems to me, you know, you get into the stair tower both in stair 1, and that's leading you directly to the exterior. And to me, the trickier one is 2A, because you are coming across the garden, but
Right.
you're going down the corridor, which is leading you directly to the outside.
You're going downstairs to a garden, across the garden to I'm not calling it a hallway, I guess an exit passageway, through a trash room, through a laundry room to the street, right? If I'm looking at, and I apologize.
Well, past them.
You're passing them.
You're
not going
passing
through
them, but
Right.
yeah.
So it's different than going down a kind of like a stair tower that's completely blocked, that goes down, that goes directly to the outside with. So I don't see it as, at least I don't see it as being the same.
Yeah, but again, like in this case, like we couldn't put the stair tower 2A on the street because of the historic nature of the building. Where stair tower 1 is, there is an existing stair there now, and we're improving it. Like right now where it starts is like within like 3 feet of the front door. You know, it's a very steep stair. You know, we're making it far more code compliant than currently exists, keeping in mind that we know that this is a little bit of a tricky egress situation here.
Judy, I don't think we have any issue with stair 2A. Well, I mean, I would think, you know, that seems to be an appropriate, you know, way to deal with the new construction, you know, in the upper, you know, in the northeast corner. It's really just kind of what happens once you get down there, or from, and really just wondering if there's a cleaner way to do it. And I realize that given existing openings in the building and not wanting to mess with that, it's, you know, it's challenging. Not disputing that at all.
So then if stair 1 is more of the issue, what could we do there? I mean, presently it's completely enclosed in a 2-hour rating. Matt, can we zoom in on that corner again? Because the dash line shows there's a dash line that shows where the stair is above. See it near the, it kind of overlaps the laundry.
This
Where
area right here.
Yeah, that dash rectangle. And that's why what I was trying to explain before with trying to keep the whole thing enclosed in a 2-hour rating. So presently it's completely enclosed in a 2-hour rating. But is there anything else that you see that we can do that would make you happier?
On you.
Anybody have any ideas?
I mean, I can tell you what would make stair 1 code compliant just in of itself. It would be like, ironically, unenclosing stair 1, keeping the lobby rated as is, removing the package room, and then it would just be an interior like exit stairway that also lets you exit from the first floor directly to the exterior.
What do you think of that?
Because it would just
But
be
then
one
again-
big enclosure. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Can you mark up on this or?
well, at the present time, I don't think I have a review open. So let me just. So this is kind of the problem right here, because if we're going to call this an exit passageway, then this would have to go.
Take it out.
To make that go,
Or
that's
move
easy.
it somewhere else.
It was an
somehow.
amenity, it was an amenity that we thought, in today's world, it
Yeah.
would be useful, but we get it. It's not certainly critical to have. And
Yeah, we'll get rid of it.
We will.
Because once you remove that, then this could be an exit passageway. And let me just check exactly what the code says about whether or not you can have like interior exit stairways terminating into an exit passageway.
How about the mailboxes though too, Matt? Now, we do need a place for the mailboxes.
The mails. Oh yeah, the mailbox has got to go too. The reason I didn't put them on the refusal because I considered this like a lobby and not like an exit passageway or an exit. It was just like another area on which you egress. I think is what the exit discharge section calls it.
Why can't the mailboxes stay?
Because once you start treating this as an exit passageway or like just like an exit a component of the means of egress, then like every single section for like a means of egress component has a sentence somewhere that says shall only be used as a means of egress, meaning nothing else, meaning people can like enter into it, but there can be nothing else. Like it can only be like regularly occupied like rooms that can open into the means of egress.
Right.
Yeah.
So it means like no like HVAC closets, no electrical like
Right,
rooms,
right,
nothing
right,
like that.
Right.
No elevators is one of them. So let me see exit passages. So interior exit stairways, termination.
Judy, have you ever seen something done on the exterior of a building with mail? And then if so, will historic have an issue with that?
Yeah, I think historic will have an issue with that, unfortunately.
No. Okay, so you can so I just looked at the building code again. So in an interior exit stairway, so that like enclosure, that's like so this can remain like an isolated thing, stair one. And then we can also treat this like exit one, I think it was called at some point, as an exit passageway, which could also be rated 2 hours all the way around, above and below. And stair one can also just like exit into the exit passageway since it's a component of the. Let's see, yeah. So section 1023.3. So first it says they must terminate at an exit discharge or a public way, meaning directed to the exterior. But the exception is a combination of interior exit stairways, ramps, and exit passageways, construction in accordance with the various other sections, forming a continuously protected enclosure shall be permitted to extend an exterior exit stairway or ramp to the exit discharge or a public right of way. As long as it's continuous and it's not interrupted by like corridors or anything else, then it's fine.
So the mail and the package room have to go. Mailboxes and package room, they have to go.
Right, because now this, what was called a lobby is going to be, I guess, functioning as a exit passageway is what the board seems to be leaning towards, because people have to exit the building because there's going to be a lot of tenants that could be exiting the building and then re-entering it through this area specifically in order to get out.
I don't know that the board said that.
It just seemed to be what everyone was kind of like leaning towards, that like you weren't, it didn't sound like anyone was big fans of this being a lobby. I'm just saying.
Well,
Unless that wasn't at all what anyone meant.
No, I'm more concerned about the people coming out of the courtyard, trying to get out and passing a laundry, in an exit passageway, passing a laundry room, coming through another door, passing a package room.
Yeah, which in that case, that leads to this being being treated as an exit passageway, and meaning it couldn't have this package room or the mail.
What about the laundry?
I mean,
If
Well,
I
well,
got,
that's outside of that space.
Yeah, but it's still part of the way you're getting out of that courtyard in an enclosed area.
yeah, that's the
Amy, on
thing.
that note, if I took if I moved the door, if I like flipped the laundry room around and got that door that's going into the laundry room,
Right.
the washers and dryers are shown now, and then push the enclosure where we have the first 90-minute door, if I push that up to where the dash line is, again, I want to keep my 2-hour enclosure of that stair that's happening above us. If I got that laundry room door out of that area, would that make you happy? Because I think I can do that. I won't get as many washers and dryers, but I think that's the sacrifice we make.
I guess I didn't understand where you're putting the door, but if I'm trying to get out of that courtyard and I'm running down that corridor, am I still passing the laundry?
You're passing the door, yes, you're passing, but that would be like if you were in a corridor in a building, right? You're passing doors to other rooms along the side, you know, over the door right in front of you.
But isn't the space between unit 11 and say the trash room? I mean, aren't you going between whatever 6-story building and a 4-story building? I mean, I know they're not the number of stories, but you know,
right.
They're basically you're in a canyon.
Yep.
You know, that is.
You're in a canyon. You're covered above, though.
For a little bit.
Are you covered above? You're covered above.
So it's a canyon that you're covered above because there's walkways above to get you to that stair as well.
Okay.
I have to look at the other plans again. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back to second floor plans.
Yeah.
Okay, here you go. This is what she's referring to.
Right, but yeah, so that bit where all the dashed lines are heading to stair 1, that's all exterior space, right?
Well,
That's
over here by 14 through 18, this is all
right.
exterior.
And then you turn up and you're heading to stair 1, that's all exterior as well, right?
But again, you've got the floor above you covering you. But yes, essentially, yes.
This is buildings A and D.
Are we looking for? Are you going to the 3rd floor or what?
Oh.
Or what are we?
No one was saying anything, so I didn't know if you were just thinking.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's.
Okay, this is 3rd floor. It's weird because there's height differentials. So on.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah,
I see.
because
right.
like
so
on
does,
this floor it says like 2nd floor buildings, you know, A and D, but it's 3rd floor and B and C. So
never.
it's-
Okay, I'm
yeah,
reading
it's
this
getting
backwards in terms
confusing.
of- Okay,
But
so
the
the
point
high
is that-
space is the wider space there. It's not, okay, everything's coming out. Yeah, so you're right. Okay, it is capped on the ground floor.
Yeah, there's this a little bit here, but I think there's still a bit that this, trying to outline it. This part is still exterior.
Right. It's all
the
yeah,
whole
it's on
way
the
up
back
and
side
down.
of it. Yeah, okay. I mean, just kind of, simply put, I mean, it is a preliminary review. Presumably you're doing it in order to get feedback. And I guess we're not convinced that there's not a way that you can't sort of solve all these problems and still get your package room and, and kind of address all those, functional programmatic needs that you have. It's just that it's in sort of trying to accommodate everything, it's become more convoluted than we're hoping that it could be. So
I hear you, but I'm just not sure how we solve it.
I'm not either, but we have, X amount of time right now to kind of address
Right.
it.
No, but I mean, no matter what I do, you know, to get all the practical programmatic things, which is just the nature of, right, of trying to reuse an old existing building. Like, we've got to have a trash room, we've got to have a bike area, we need to have a laundry. You know, we need to have those things in this building.
We understand, but that being said, I mean, if we either are saying, okay, we're going to grant these variances and, you know, as is, or we're saying, I think you need to take another look at this and try to improve it, and then let's take another look at it. I mean, I don't think you want us to just say, sorry, no variance. I think, you know, I mean, I can't speak for anybody else, but I'm not convinced that some of these things can't be addressed.
So if you could then, for me, what is the main problem you're seeing with stair 1? We've said stair 2A is fine. So stair 1, what is the main problem that you're seeing? It sounded to me like you
It's not
don't
with
like
the
that they have to
stair.
go down
Yeah,
that
it's-
corridor.
Stair 1
It's
isn't the
not the stair.
problem.
We're talking about the exiting,
Yeah, the exiting.
the
That-
exiting, which requires multiple variances to be able to re-enter the building in two places, neither of which is clear direct passage to a street. Either because in stair 2B screws up the one way, and the package room, the laundry, everything else, trash room, everything you're doing there screws up that one. So we're just saying somewhere there should be a way for all the people in the high, portion of this building coming down stair 2B or 2A to be able to get out to the street in a more direct way.
This wall
I
right
mean,
here.
I'm, maybe at the end of the day, there's not a better way to do it, but.
Been working on this, trust me, a very long time. And I keep hearing, like, it sounds to me like you guys don't like that it goes past the trash and the laundry. Even if we direct it, like this would be a terrible idea, but went directly out to the street from the courtyard, like cut the commercial space in half. Our stair, it's just another way out at the ground floor. Like this, we can't put the whole, I mean, I guess we could like move the location of where the existing historic stair was into the center of the building, so it would be directly off the courtyard. But I just don't think that's an elegant solution.
What about coming off the courtyard straight out to whatever the street is to the right? Is that Gerard?
Yeah, and that's
Yes.
what I was saying, Amy. Like if we cut
Yeah.
it into two commercial
that's not-
spaces, but now our stair doesn't link to that. It's just, another way out of the garden. Unless we move the whole stair to the center, but now that becomes,
Yeah,
that could be an issue with historic because of the way it changes the front of the building.
yeah.
Does anybody think they have a solution? If they do, Matt or anybody else, and not or just a recommendation or whatever. Try to move this on.
Man.
Well, I guess I just got a little lost here. So what specifically is the issue with that stair 1 exit area? The package room, we know you said in the mail, so those can be removed. It's 2-hour rated. I understand walking by the trash room and laundry room. That's also 2-hour rated. So I'm not, just the fact that we have units in the back in this courtyard, it's landlocked, that can't change. I mean, that's just, unfortunately, because it's historic,
understand.
touch the front of the building. So you know, and there's two means of, you know, egress out to the streets, both to Sixth and Gerard. So if we had, you know, so we have some specific feedback, the package room and the mail, okay, we get that.
Well, as I understand the code, I mean, one of those ways out to the street could be through a lobby, you know, which can have mail
Yeah.
and package room off it. I mean, if the other one were, you know, were direct, and maybe it's, and again, I don't know how to resolve that, but when you have, if stair 2B didn't dump you into the same space there so that it was a straight shot out, I mean, I don't know whether that would help.
Judy,
or
I
if
have,
that's even
Judy, I
possible.
have a question for you.
Yes.
And we'll try to wrap this up quickly. So that's stair 2A. There's a big red box there. I can't read what it is.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, if you could maybe.
This is 2-hour rating wall,
Oh, okay.
specifically right here.
What's that? Is that a window there? That double window, what is that? A door, a window? Unit 4 coming out of unit 4.
Yeah, that's a window. It's a window for that unit.
What I was going to say, if we could extend that exit, you come down 2A and go right to that and close all that. But then you're chopping into the open space, and then you eliminate that. And
Yeah, and from what I'm understanding, the 2A isn't so much an issue as stair 1.
because all those back units feed right. They go the hallway and the walkway go right to that exit.
2A, that is.
Now
I
to
see
stair
here.
1 lobby exit. Gerard Avenue exit.
Yeah, so that'd be 14 through 16, 18.
Correct.
These right here. Yeah, they
Yeah,
can take
they
either
all
one,
feed-
actually.
They all feed right into that, as well as stair 2As, which is.
Yeah,
the
they could take
second
either one from there.
So here's another idea I had. Again, I don't like this. But if it's because you have to walk by the trash room and the laundry,
Right.
You know, if I took out some of the commercial space, and I mean, you would basically have to leave the building to walk to come around Gerard Ave, like where it says commercial space. I mean, maybe we tuck them in there to get them out of that walkway. But people would have to leave the building and go, not only are we taking storefront area away, but have to re-enter, you know, to go into the laundry room or the trash room. So I don't think it's a good solution, but it would get the doors of those out of that walkway. And it's only 18 feet, by the way. I just quickly measured it from like the corner of unit 11 to where that door is. If I put the door back, I'm quite sure I can plan easily to get that door to the laundry room out of the whole business. I can fix that.
Yeah.
But would that do it? Okay, if I get the door to the laundry room out, but the trash room and the bike storage stays where it is, I get rid of the package room. I don't know where I'm putting mail yet, but would that do it? Just like walking down a corridor in a building. I know you're outside, but you're just walking down, you open your egress door, you get out. You're completely enclosed.
Sprinkler. 2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see any easy solution. I mean, definitely, but I mean, should we caucus or I know Amy's got to
Before you
run.
caucus, should we talk about the other couple of,
Oh, yeah.
I think
Sure,
they're
what
quicker.
else we got?
The other is the common path of egress travel. If you go back to that 0.2
It's
map.
here, right here.
Yeah, my new drawings have the actual length. From those 3 units, our common path of egress travel ranges from 128 feet to 145. So we're beyond the 125 feet to that exit door where we have 2 choices. But we are just on the 2nd floor. The clear story unit, these 2nd floor units are all about 20 feet from the street, and we have emergency escape and rescue openings in each of those.
And did you have a NFPA 13?
13, yes.
Yeah,
NFPA
okay.
13, not R. The full
Right, yeah.
NFPA.
Yeah,
Wait.
John, how do you feel about this? I think that's, slightly longer, but still. I mean, they'd be allowed to be, if this was all residential, they'd be allowed to have it 125 and an NFPA 13R. So is this?
Hold on.
Oh.
So is there, what's the allowance? So it's not all residential. So the code dictates what's the distance?
It's because of
So-
the commercial on the ground floor, but yeah.
Right.
Let me just pull it up.
So to be code compliant, how many feet do they need?
Okay, let me just find it. So it has to do with how long they have to walk from the most reported unit, which these, I think 22, 23, 24, they're all like, they're not bi-level units, they're like tri-level units, I think.
No, they're just bi-level units, Matt. They just have
Okay. Okay, because I think it says, because they go here and then,
It's just confusing because of all the different heights in the existing building.
yeah.
Yep.
And so they end
But-
here. This is okay. So there are just bi-level units. It ends at 3rd floor. Okay, I was mixing them up with the other ones. Okay, so is the distance from the most remote point of all 3 of these, all 4 of these, to this point right here? Because this is the point at which they will actually have 2 distinct means of egress that are available to them.
Right.
Because until that point, they all have to take the exact same route until they get to here. And so I think I did remeasure all of these, and it did come up just like a little. And I think all of them still came out all over 125 feet at this point.
By how much?
Let me go back and.
It's
Just
on the
measure-
latest drawings, everyone.
Oh,
Sorry
it
to
is.
interrupt.
It's not by much.
From 128 to 145. The longest travel distance is from unit 28, which is 145 feet. But
Yeah.
the other ones are 128, 130 something, I think. Let me pull my setup here. I can tell you exactly.
We don't usually play with those requirements.
So, say it, Amy?
We don't usually play with those requirements based on fire department's advice.
Yeah, travel distance is a big thing because it's all about time of getting out of the building, right? So more feet, more time to get out. And again, I understand what you're trying to do here, but when variances are usually given, in my point of view, it has to do with a couple different things. The code's interpreted differently. They don't fully apply, there's an equal to or better way of doing something. And I don't see for me to say, yeah, it's okay to not abide by the fire code or what's in the fire code. I'm not a building code guy. I'm a fire code guy because it's difficult or we have a building that's hard to manage and to make it happen. That's not a reason for me to say, oh, okay, then you don't have to do it. It's only 15, 20 feet. Or, yeah, well, that hallway, it's tough for you to do that. But so because it's tough, then just don't do it. That's never been my opinion. So unless there's something you can say, hey, I can't do X, but I can do Y, and Y is as good as X, or the code was misinterpreted, then I usually come down on, you got to make it work, and that's not up to me to make it happen. That would be up to the design professionals. That's my opinion.
And I totally get that, John. And that's why we're saying if we have emergency escape and rescue, since we're only 20 feet off the street, isn't that an equal trade-off? Because one of the things we're trying to do here is here we have this blighted building that's a historic building in the city of Philadelphia, and we're trying to bring it back to life. And I think that there's value in that.
Absolutely.
Incredible value in that. And I don't know that you're not running into these issues no matter what.
Can we 2-hour that section of that hallway? It's an hour, it's 1 hour. It's which code?
So well, the corridor may not have to be rated at all.
Presently, we're a full hour, and
Oh, okay.
Okay, so can we increase that? Will that satisfy the fire, the fire code?
Sorry, you guys blanked out there for a second. I didn't hear that last thing you said.
John, I said if we did a section of that hallway, 2 hour, would that be a reasonable compromise?
You're talking about the hallway between
the section of hallway that gets us to another 2 hour rated,
Right.
which is that other.
Is that the one that's cross coming through the packaging room and going past the laundry and and all that stuff?
No, we're upstairs,
No,
John.
we're at the
Okay,
second
I'm
floor.
sorry. Well, here's the thing. I had a problem with my computer, so I'm looking at this stuff on an iPhone. So I'm
Oh.
trying to scroll around. So this has been very tough for me. So I apologize for that. So
In that case, just sign off on everything. You'll be all right.
yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
So
It's this corridor right here that leads to units. Well,
Yeah, if we rate that, hopefully that should.
so an hour instead of 2 hour to what? Like a travel distance requirement?
Correct.
Yeah, he's suggesting 2 hours instead of 1 hour.
and having emergency escape and rescue.
Well, you need that anyway, right? That's not something that's not something extra that's being given. It's required by the building code.
No, I don't think anymore in R2. I don't believe it is.
I'll have to double check that again. Let's see here. If it's brand new dwelling units, yes, they would. If it's altering existing ones, it's only if you're touching the windows. I'll have to double check all that because the IBC would govern all those things.
Yeah, I think that typically only applies if you have one means of egress, and you're on the second or third story.
Let's see what it says.
If you're in a 4-story building.
Let me see exactly what it says. So I also know that the building code is very explicit about how like emergency escape and rescue openings are not a means of egress. It's in addition to the means of egress.
Right.
So-
And that would be our case.
All right. Let's see what this says.
And then also keep in mind, we're much closer to our exit than is allowed by the travel. I forget which one it's called, the travel distance. It's like you're allowed 250 feet, and even though our common path of travel is further than the 125, our actual travel to the exit themselves, I think is like 163 to an exit.
Yeah, it's around that number for all of them. For like the total distance to the interior exit stairway. But what we're talking about here is common path egress travel, which is the distance until you get to this, until you can choose between exits, or choose between two paths to two different means of egress.
Well, what do the architects think on that? Is an extra hour rating of a hallway? Do you think that's equivalent to the travel distance?
Honestly, I think
I'm
that.
not gonna
No,
comment.
I'm talking to the board. I'm talking to the board.
Oh, sorry.
You're not an architect.
Oh, engineer.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, really, John, that's the kind of thing we defer to you on, you know, I mean, intuitively, it seems that, you know,
Could be a little more protection.
it's buying you a lot of time to have the additional hour rating.
Yeah,
I mean,
10 to
technically, it's
15
buying
feet.
you 60 minutes.
Right. Can
So
To
an
go-
extra hour give you the
to go
15
20
feet.
more feet.
Right. That was my inclination. But in the past, I don't know what the board, I don't remember all the cases. Is there a precedent? And was that a solution to this type of problem at times, just increasing, going from 1 to 2 hours to increase the travel distance?
I don't remember something specifically like this, but I think in that kind of thing, yes, we've used the 2 hours instead of 1 hour for a variety of.
We've used that on a number of occasions.
Yeah.
Well, we've used it when you have to run back under a building
Yeah.
Yeah.
to exit.
Well, yeah. I mean, the good thing here is when you get to stair 1, you know, or even to stair 2A, but to stair 1, you've got a pretty direct shot out to Girard Avenue.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, you know, that's beneficial.
Yeah, intuitively, I don't, you know, you can't test this stuff out, so you got to make a judgment call. And my gut tells me an extra hour rating of a hallway would be equal to or better than 15 feet if it came down to that. So I
would think so.
obviously it's not my decision, but I would probably go with that.
Yeah, I think that's logical from my
But
standpoint.
I'm also concerned we're not looking at the current drawings. There's egress paths shown for 165 feet on this, but now you're saying, oh, that's not right. So I mean, I'd like to see the right drawing so I understand what we're approving or what we're gonna give a variance for.
The longest distance was 145, is that what we said?
Yeah, but on this drawing, it says exit access, something about 165. But then we're being told this isn't the right drawing, so why aren't we looking at the right drawing? Why don't we have that up on the screen?
I think that's the exit access as opposed to the dual path of travel.
That's correct, Ted. And if we want to close this out, I can pull up the correct drawings on my computer. I had sent them to Debbie yesterday or the day before, the most recent set. We want to out of this, and I can figure out how to pull them up on mine.
But I think if you're saying that the maximum dual path of travel is 145 feet and we basically can accept that, you know,
Yeah, and you have them. She would have sent those
That is a
drawings.
maximum.
I think she said she was sending them to you.
yeah, but it's, yeah.
I mean, the
probably.
drawing that I have that was sent to me that says egress plan doesn't show all those travel distances.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I'm just looking at what Matt has here, so.
Whatever
Yeah, it
Judy
was-
sent me, Phil forwarded that to you. So,
All right, wait, now I see some of them on it.
okay.
See what I mean?
In the meantime, just reading the code again. So I just checked exactly what section 1030 says about where emergency escape and rescue openings are required. It says group R2, where it says group R2 in stories with only one exit or access to only one exit, as per tables. Finna gives the single exit. What should we call it? The single exit maximum distance tables. So that necessarily wouldn't apply here because these are dwelling units these are R2 dwelling units that ultimately have access to 2 exits.
What you're saying is the emergency escape openings are an addition.
They would be in addition, they wouldn't be necessarily automatically required because
Okay.
these dwelling units,
Okay.
they
I
all have
got you.
access to
So,
at
would
least
we
2
be-
exits.
Yeah, so we'd be getting an extra hour rating on the walls, emergency escape openings, and
Yeah.
and obviously you'd have to do a 90-minute door if you're doing a 2-hour rated wall, right?
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah,
Correct.
For every single unit along that corridor, yes.
I'm okay with that personally.
So I'm looking at the other drawing that says the travel distance from that one unit is 145 feet, but what's different, can you scroll back up to where you were? What's different is that once you pass through that door where the 5-foot dimension is, yeah, that door.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we didn't include that travel distance, and I guess I don't understand why.
I
Like,
guess
that's-
because,
That's the
okay,
20 feet we lost to get to the stair tower.
it's about like 18 feet, 7 inches, 9 inches after I measured it.
But why doesn't that count anymore? Why isn't that included in that travel distance to get to
So-
the stair tower?
Because you can also go to the other stair
Yeah,
along below 17, 8,
'cause you
16.
can also go to this one.
So Amy, I think that what Amy's missing is that the travel distance is the distance to the stair tower, which we're well under on that. The common path of egress travel, which is the one that's giving us the problem, is just the distance to that door, where the 5-foot is, because it's to the point at which you then have 2 options to exit.
Yep.
Common path of travel is, okay?
Okay,
Does that make sense now?
yes.
Yeah. One of
So
which
with that, are
takes
we
you outside
satisfied
and then
with
back
that?
inside. Sorry?
Are we satisfied with that, with the distance, the
I
travel
think we have
distance?
to caucus Wayne before we,
Okay.
Okay.
Is there anything else before we caucus?
Now,
Going once?
was there still an issue with the exterior stair? The location of it relative to the building?
It's just not meeting the requirement that it can't be that it can't be less than 10 feet from other portions of the building or adjacent lot lines, and it's right up against the lot line and it's less than 10 feet away from. It's like 8 feet away from units 14 through 18.
And,
That
and we're
portion.
typically good with that as long as it's non-combustible.
Yeah, and we're non-combustible. Okay, cool. Okay.
Right.
Okay. All right, let's caucus.
All right, so we should go?
No,
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 no.
you can-
Then
no,
we'll put you in
Okay,
the
I'll just
waiting
put you in
room.
I'll put you in the waiting room.
Oh, okay. Okay, thanks. Do I have to do anything?
don't go too
No,
far.
Nope,
just
I'm
No,
gonna
don't
put
do
you
on standby.
anything.
Hold on.
Don't move.
Who's sharing? Oh, you need to keep the things up. That's fine. Keep that up. Where are you, Judy? Oh, here you
I'm
are.
at the top.
I got you. Okay, so let me see. That was it, right? Just the 2 of them.
yes, you want to stop recording?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, well, where's your other person? Okay, John, we're going to go back on the record. Phil, you already did it. Okay, so we're back on the record now.
Okay, we do have concern with the laundry and the trash being in the egress corridor. If you could go back and see how you could refigure that out, that it doesn't exit into the corridor. If you could look at that when you're putting the rest of your stuff together. Also,
And Wayne, just to interrupt for 1 sec, sorry. If you can study that and submit, we could look at it administratively if it's, what you feel like meets our concerns. Or come back in, with that particular thing. But sorry, go ahead, Wayne.
yeah, and if you could, reconfigure how you can do that and come back like Ted just said. We have any other problems we want you to clean up? What's the other things that we wanted them to clean up that we were talking about?
The only other thing was the where stair 2B, the folks exiting from there, the units that kind of exit into that corridor that then leads out to 6th Street. There's just a lot of people colliding that I think that, it's maybe a question, just pulling the door back that goes into that vestibule before you go to the street, just to clean that up. That's it's okay, but it just to make it, since so many people might be coming from the courtyard through there, but just to make it a little more, gracious. I don't want to lead the witness too much on this. The other stuff, Wayne, go ahead with, the upstairs.
Yeah. What was that, Ted? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, with the things that we were comfortable with.
Yeah, well, we're comfortable with stair 2A, right? We had no problem with that.
Right, and provided it's non-combustible. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And the thing is that the other stairway, 2B, that we don't have a problem with that, am I right? Because
Correct.
it's only like, what, 3 or 4 apartments coming into there?
Only 3.
3, okay. So we're kind of comfortable in that. We'd like to have door closures on the doors. In certain areas, you would have to take a look at those and come back to us. Am I missing anything else, Ted?
Yeah, the common path of travel, we're okay with that, provided there's a 2-hour separation, 90-minute doors, and then the rescue windows that you were proposing. So, and I don't think, was there anything else, Judy, that?
No, because you said you were okay with stair 2A and its distance from the building as long as we make it non-combustible, so.
Right, yeah.
So it seems like the main thing is getting those doors out of the egress to stair 1 and cleaning up around where stair 2B joins up. They seem like the 2 big ones.
Yeah, and in looking at it, I mean, one thing that and Amy just jumped back in that we talked about was if there's a way to exit from the courtyard that may not be the exit from stair 1, and by making that corridor not up around, going around stair 1, maybe some of those functions kind of slide east, and it may give you a way to exit. Essentially, it would be exiting through a lobby. In that case, it would truly be a lobby that that's not sharing the space with the stair.
I gotcha.
And again,
yeah, no, because that would actually be the cleaner solution, I think, if Matt Samola, as opposed to our other Matt, if you would be comfortable with having 2 separate commercial spaces as opposed to 1 large commercial space. So maybe you think about that and we can discuss.
Okay. Yeah, well, and one other thing, just we didn't know whether of those 3 functions, the laundry, the trash, the bikes, if any of those, if they all needed to be off the courtyard as opposed to be off that entrance. And again, the bikes are the ones that concern us the least in terms of fire risk. I mean, I think from what John, Dimes has said, laundries and trash rooms are, they're a disproportionate number of the calls that they get, and that's having that part of the exit sequence is part of the concern.
But if I heard you correctly, if I can make another egress out to Girard Avenue, like straight through, right off the courtyard, we're not even going through that stair area, then I can essentially keep, you don't mind the trash room and the laundry being off the courtyard, you just don't want it on the path of travel to get to that egress. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, if there's a way to do it where it's sort of off the courtyard end of it, or I don't know. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we looked at it, of course, putting it off of 6th Street, and because that starts eating into where you could have a unit or where the front space would be that Historic cares about, it just, to tuck it in the back there off the commercial space, because we had our 30 feet from the street, it made the most sense.
Yeah, we're not sure where you're gonna end up with it, but we just, you know, we'd like to see. And-
Okay.
And as we said, if it's something where you feel like you're addressing, you know, what we've expressed, then we look at things, we can do it administratively in executive session before a hearing without you coming back, you know, necessarily.
Okay, and how would I do the administrative?
I guess, Matt, would she, would she submit to you to bring to the board? or-
Administratively, I think it's just continued, and then the next time she just brings those plans.
Well, yeah, but I don't think she necessarily needs to come in if it's something that it can just,
Oh,
we can look at administratively, you know, or dial in for it or be available if we have questions, you know.
Well, do you want them to go to Matt first? And then, I mean, she could email me and let me know she's ready, and then she could submit whatever she needs to Matt, and then he can bring it into executive session. Because we have
Yeah.
yeah.
I
more
think having it go to
hearings
Matt,
in
who's gonna
December.
be able to interpret what we've been talking about more. I think.
Okay, that's fine. I think that's a good idea.
Fair.
Yeah.
And then he can
Fair
just
enough.
let me know, and then we can do an executive session or administrative review.
Yeah, well, that's what, yeah, I guess that's.
Right,
yeah,
so-
And if you don't mind, like, how long do you think all that would take? Like, if I got you something next week?
Well, we
The
have,
next
we
hearing-
meet every 2 weeks, so.
Every 2 weeks.
Yeah, when's the next one? I guess it's a little bit
December
different.
1st and December 15th. Is that right, Phil?
Yeah, I think it is. I
Yeah,
think
that
it-
sounds right.
Yeah,
There are next 2 hearings in December until January.
yep.
Yeah, so hopefully we can look at it December 1st and, you know, say, looks good. You know,
All right.
All right, thank you so much for your time and everything. Appreciate it.
Okay, guys.
yeah.
All right.
We'll be here
And for Matt Samola and for you, Judy, I mean, we are, believe me, it's wonderful to salvage the, you know, this building, this complex, and, you know, so we're, you
We're
know.
trying.
we're
Yeah,
glad to
thanks.
take
Thanks
it
for
on.
working with us. It's
Thank
All
always
right, guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Yep.
Right, have a good
Hey.
day.
Guys, Lieutenant Dines, I gotta jump.
Yep.
Hey,
All
Don.
right.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Hey,
Bye.
happy Thanksgiving,
Bye,
John.
John.
Stop
All
recording.
right. Happy Thanksgiving, John.
Okay, we can go off the record now.